All right, everybody, open your notes to page 26. And welcome to class today. You have a substitute. I'm not here. That's probably obvious, but we're moving on with factoring trinomials. So here it goes. Try to pay attention. All right, m plus 2 and m plus 4. First of all, let's just talk about what we could have done with this before. This is a skill we learned a couple days ago. We call it FOIL or distributing. Remember, FOIL is just an acronym for distributing. Okay, so if we were to FOIL this together, m times m is m squared, m times 4 is 4m, 2 times m is 2m, and 2 times 4 is 8. You can combine like terms in the middle, and you get m squared plus 6m plus 8. Okay? Now, do this again, and let's see what we notice. So I'm going to pause. Well, no, I'm not going to pause. Just keep going. Well, let's go ahead and try all of these. I'm just going to sit quietly and do these, and I want you to do them on your paper, and then we'll talk about what you notice. This one up here, I goofed. That should be a minus 8. Okay, check your work and see how you did. Let's look at the resulting trinomials column. Notice that every single one of these has an m squared, and every single one of these has an 8. Some of the 8s are positive, some of the 8s are negative, and 2 of the middle terms have a 6m, one positive, one negative. 2 of the middle terms have a 2m, one positive, one negative. Okay, now look at all of these. These all had an m and a 2 and an m and a 4, but the signs are different. Positive, 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 positive over here. Negative, negative, we had a negative, positive over here. Positive, negative, 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 and negative, positive, positive, negative. Okay, so here's the sign rules. This is a little bit bad print again, but this is supposed to be a plus and a plus. If you multiply two parentheses together and both of those have plus signs in the middle, then everything in your resulting problem is going to be positive. So if you're given this and you have a plus sign here and a plus sign there, you'll have a plus sign in both parentheses. Okay? Now the next one started out with minus and minus. This one ends up with a plus sign for the 8 and a minus for the 6. Now think about it. When you multiplied negative 2 times negative 4, negative times negative is positive. So what that means is ax squared minus bx plus c. This symbol right here, to get a positive, tells you your signs have to be the same in the parentheses. Now the first one had positive on the right sign and positive on the left sign, so it was positive, positive. This one has positive, but then a negative. So that means your signs must be the same, but they're both negative. Okay? Now the next two are similar, positive and a negative, negative and a positive, so it's got one of each sign in the parentheses. And look over here, they both have a negative 8. How would we get a negative 8? Well, we'd have to multiply a positive and a negative number. So if you have ax squared and then over here a minus c, that tells you that your signs must have been different. It doesn't really matter. I'm going to write plus or minus bx minus c. It doesn't matter what the b is. It can be positive or negative. But what that means is in your two parentheses, you're going to have one of each sign. Okay, now what do I mean by two parentheses? Let's move on to how would you factor this trinomial. Okay, so this is your answer. This is like your resulting trinomial. Remember that this is distributing to get that. If I gave you the resulting trinomial and wanted you to go back to the binomials, we would call that factoring. So distributing, factoring. So here's the problem. We want to factor it. We're going to put it into 2 parentheses because it's a trinomial. Okay, the term that goes here and here has to multiply to make m squared. So it must be m and m. The number that goes here and here will have to multiply to make 8. But we don't know what that is. Is it 1 times 8 or is it 2 times 4? Well, we have to do a little thinking because whatever goes here and here actually has 2 jobs. It has to those 2 numbers have to multiply to make 8. But they also have to add or subtract to make 6. So think about what we did up here. Negative 2 times 4 is negative 8. But then negative 2 and 4 also make the 2 in the middle term here. So we use the negative 4 and the negative 2 and the 4 to multiply to get the negative 8. Then we add and subtract those to get the 2. So down here we need to find 2 numbers that will multiply to make 8 and then add or subtract to make a 6. So what's it going to be? Well, it's got to be 2 and 4. 2 and 4 will multiply to make 8 and then they will add to make 6. Okay, let's check it. We check it by distributing or FOILing. So m times m is m squared. M times 4 is 4m. 2 times m is 2m. 2 times 4 is 8. So m squared plus 4m plus 2m plus 8, that's 6m, and that's what our original problem was, so it worked. Check the signs. Remember our sign rules up here. Positive, positive means your parentheses are positive, positive. Positive, positive, our parentheses are positive, positive. Okay? All right, let's try a few more of these. Factor each completely. Okay, it's a trinomial, so we're going to factor it into 2 parentheses. What goes here and here has to multiply to make k squared. So that's going to be k and k. What goes here and here has to multiply to make 10. So it could be 1 and 10 or 2 and 5. But we have to pick the pair of numbers that not only multiplies to make 10, but also adds or subtracts to make 11. So which one is it? 1 and 10. Signs are plus, plus, so the signs here will be plus, plus. Again, if we were to check it, k times k is k squared, k times 10 is 10k, 1 times k is k, 1 times 10 is 10. Combine like terms in the middle, you get k squared plus 11k plus 10, and that's what we started with. All right, let's try another one. This one, the signs are different. So if we follow our sign rule up here, it said if you have a negative, what happens? A negative, you're going to have one of each sign. So let's come down here and we're going to put a plus and a minus. Because in order to get a negative 15, we have to have a positive times a negative. So k and k. What are the factors of 15? 1 and 15, 3 and 5. Which one of those pairs of factors, this is a k, which one of those pairs will add or subtract to make 2? Well, it's going to be 3 and 5. Now, be careful, because if we had a positive 3 minus 5, we'd get negative 2. If we had a negative 3 and a positive 5, we'd get positive 2. We want a positive 2, so it must be this one. So minus 3 plus 5. And you can check to distribute that and see if you got it right. Okay? All right, you have 2 more problems to try. I'll show you what their answers are at the beginning of the next video. Do them now.